What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. Today we are going to be looking at my Wii collection and what I've added to the collection recently. We went to Bromley, so this is the first episode of what I'm dubbing Wonderful Wii. That's what this episode and this video is going to be, this series, where I'm going to go out and look for Wii titles. I've already built up a collection quite rapidly because I think they're super cheap to collect for. It's got some great games on it. But we're just looking at what I've picked up in Bromley CEX in particular, and a little look in my own local CEX, as you do. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to the footage. I must apologise here. I shot this footage way too quick, so I've had to slow it down a little bit so I can see what actually is on the shelves. I was a bit disappointed with the selection in this Bromley CEX. They were pretty much, you know, the shovelware of shovelware. Most of them was, really. You had that Mario Party 9 and that Mortal Kombat. I almost picked up the Mortal Kombat, but it didn't have a manual, unfortunately. The Mario Party 9 was 28 quid, which I don't really want to pay. Plus, I'm not really a big fan of those Mario Party titles, really. Yeah, just your usual kind of stuff that I see all the time on the Wii, unfortunately. Like, obviously, the more sought after titles are going to be a bit more difficult to find. But we did find something that is on my list. Right, we are in our local CEX and having a browse at the games. There's nothing really here that took my fancy at the moment. They had stuff like Donkey Kong Returns, which I've already got. People talk about that as Cycle Truck. That's meant to be pretty decent for a little kind of like racing game on the Wii. This is similar to the Bromley store. There's a lot of just typical stuff you see all the time. Unfortunately, you've got the Zelda Skyward Sword that I wouldn't mind having, but I'm not in a desperate rush to own that game right now. I've got loads of games for the Wii, like I said already, so I've got a bunch of games. It's not like I'm starving for something to play. I've got loads of games at the moment. I do want to get all the Mario kind of sports spin-off games, so like that's a game I do want to pick up at some point. But I don't think I had the manual, because I would have picked it up, of course, otherwise. You've got some cool like third-party stuff like Spider-Man. It's pretty cool. They tend to be the cheaper of the bunch of those titles. Wii Sports Resort is a game everyone kind of, I guess, wants to have in their collection. Wii Sports as well. I'm not too bothered about having those titles in the collection. WarioWare is meant to be pretty decent, and all of the Zumbas in the world. So that's the footage of Bromley CEX and my local CEX, as always. But they had a kind of scarce collection of games for the Wii, unfortunately. I was a bit disappointed with their selection. I'm always finding it difficult to find the games I'm looking for. But we have picked up a few bits though for the Wii today. There were things there. Just, I felt like the Wii section is getting smaller and smaller in CEX, I've noticed. So hopefully we can find the more bigger titles that I want later on down the line. Anyway, let's get to the pickups. The first pickup for the Wii is this brand new in box Classic Controller. I've been after one of these for a while. I would have preferred to have the Pro controller for the Wii, but this Classic Controller would do just fine. This is 10 quid. I'm happy to pay that. It allows me to play certain games without worrying about motion controls. I can just play it using this. I'm not sure how this is going to handle, whether it's going to feel crap in your hand or feel alright, but who knows. That's the Wii Classic Controller. Next up we have a JRPG that I've really never gotten into, or tried to like look for titles in the JRPG genre that I wanted to get back into JRPGs. People say this game is one of the really cool kind of entry level RPGs that people can jump in and get back into the JRPG kind of genre. That's the Wii version of Xenoblade Chronicles. I know this has had like a 3DS port and it had a remaster port for the Switch. They're all both quite expensive. This was 12 quid, so I thought I'd jump on this and get the original Wii version. The cool thing is, one of those games I can use the Classic Controller on, so I don't have to worry about any of the motion control stuff. What I love about this as well is complete in box with the manual. Yeah, looking forward to jumping into this one. I used to be really into the JRPG scene genre back in the day in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. But I've slowly gotten, falling out of favour of them for some reason. There's never been titles that I've wanted to jump into, but I knew that this was one of the big titles I wanted for the Wii, Xenoblade Chronicles, and hopefully I can get into it and be one of those JRPGs that I just gravitate to. Hopefully, let me know if you think I'm going to enjoy this one. being that I'm trying to get back into JRPGs. That's Xenoblade Chronicles. Next up is a first-person shooter on the Wii, done completely correct in my opinion. That's the Conduit. I couldn't believe how cheap this was. Complete with manual in this nice limited edition box. It's in absolutely miraculous condition as well, beautiful condition. This is £2 in CEX. I'm really happy about it. I loved this game when it came out. I thought this game, finally we had a first-person shooter done really well. Of course it's motion controls, so be it as it may, there might be some like you know, some adjustment there, some, you know, you've got to get used to it kind of thing. But I remember this one actually doing it pretty well, and I really like this game. I think it's an underrated kind of like yeah, sci-fi shooter. Obviously I don't like the word hidden gem, but I guess it's a hidden gem on the Wii. But most people who collect for the Wii know this game exists. But I'm happy this came with a nice slip box. It's really nice condition. Like, I'm really surprised how clean this box is. Like, the edges are all clean. Like, it's such a good condition. So yeah, that is the Conduit. Love this game. I want to get the sequel that I've not played before, but the sequel I want to get as well. That's the Conduit. Next up, I've got 2 games. The last 2 games for this video. I didn't pick up that much in this video, unfortunately, but these last 2 games, I feel like the Wii was built for these kind of games. I'm talking about old school light gun shooters. Obviously, these days, those old school shooters like Time Crisis, Virtua Cop, all those kind of old school light gun shooters, you can't play them on modern screens. They were built specifically for those CRT televisions with the guns that basically it's like an infrared kind of like infrared kind of connector that tells the TV that you've pulled the trigger. But the Wii has brought it back with gyro controls, with the motion controls, where it's basically you can do it now on modern screens. So I've got House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return. Why they couldn't do a trilogy, why they couldn't do the first game, I don't know, but that is up for a debate, I suppose. House of the Dead 2 is a bona fide classic. I remember playing it on the Dreamcast like shit tons as a kid. Number 3, not so much of a classic, still decent, but I remember having that on the original Xbox as well when it came out. But having them both here in this collection is awesome, and they play fantastic. The motion controls for aiming and shooting is just it's flawless in that regard. I've got Motion Plus in my Wiimote as well, so it's even more precise. It's really cool. I love these games. They're so fun just to boot on for, you know, if you want to just have a little bit of you've only got like 5-10 minutes just to play a bit of game before you have to do something or go out or whatever. These are perfect for that, and the Wii just does it wonderfully. They look great as well. They still look great, I think, today. They've got this charm to them, this colourful charm to them, and the feedback of shooting the zombies in this is really cool. Like, the heads explode. It's just satisfying. It's just really satisfying to play a light gun game on a modern TV like this. Yeah, the more I get into these Wii games, the more I'm like, man, I misjudged this console big time. And you're going to see as we go through this series of Wonderful Wii that it is a wonderful machine. It's got some amazing titles. This is obviously a re-release, of course, but it's using the Wii to its strengths, which is the you know, the Wii remote, and it able to bring these light gun games back to life, bringing them to the modern audience, especially back in when the Wii came out, you know, the late 2000s. This is so cool to see. This House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return. Final game is also another House of the Dead game. It's House of the Dead Overkill. This game is completely far and beyond compared to the original House of the Dead games, but this kind of goes for more of that kind of like a low budget grindhouse aesthetic. It's tons of gore, tons of swear words, absolute just awesome just vibe to it. Takes you right back to those 70s kind of, you know, grindhouse, you know, splatter movies that everyone just loves to go back to these days and laugh at how bad they are. But yeah, this game is so much fun. I love it. I just think it's brilliant. When the Wii came out, it was seen as this kiddie console, a console for kids, but you still got like adult stuff on there. This is not for kids, guys. Like, there's so much bad language in it. There's so much gore and violence and brutal stuff. By all means, this ain't serious. It's tongue-in-cheek to hell, but it's got that mature, that adult aspect to it that just makes it great. I re-emphasise the Wii was built for these light gun games. I did play a bit of that Ghost Squad, whatever it's called, the Sega one called Ghost Squad. That wasn't that great, unfortunately, but these two are fantastic light gun shooters. So that is the first episode of Wonderful Wii in the bag. I've got tons more to showcase when it concerns the Wii console, because like I just said earlier, the more I invest in this machine, the more I realise what an amazing console it is and what an incredible library of games it has. And the Wii is so cheap now as well. Like I said, Zeno Chronicles was like 12 quid, Conduit was 2 quid, and the 2 House of Dead games were like £6 a piece. So it's super affordable now, man. It's super affordable. It is a very great console. I know there's a big modding scene for it as well, which I'm too scared to attempt because I suck at technology and shit. But anyway, that is it for the first episode of Wonderful Wii. Any and all your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. As always, guys, let's continue to build a Wii collection.